Hello and welcome students to MechPro classes, my official YouTube channel. Myself Piraj Majumdar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, GKCM, that is Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management under JIS Group. Welcome you to our new session of Advanced Welding Technology, where we will be uploading all the lecture series according to MacOut syllabus day by day. So keep in touch with us for getting daily updates. You can also contact me through 9433465217, that is my personal phone number, or even you can email me at pirasar@gmail.com. You can also connect me through social networking, that is Facebook page, which is known as MechPro classes. So let us start today's online session. Previously we have completed the first portion of this module 4 discussing PAW, plasma arc welding, LBW, laser beam welding, EBW, electron beam welding, USW, ultrasonic welding, and friction stir welding and underwater welding. In the last class we have covered welding of plastics. So today we will be discussing this welding of ceramics and composites. Okay, so let us begin today's class. So today we will be having the class on welding of ceramics and composites. So talking about the joining of ceramics, we have this thing talking about ceramics. A ceramic material may be defined as any inorganic crystalline material compounded of a metal and a non-metal. Ceramics can be classified as crystalline ceramics and non-crystalline ceramics. Crystalline ceramic materials are not amenable to a great range of processing. Non-crystalline ceramics, being glasses, tend to be formed from melts. The glass is saved when it is fully molten. Now, let us have some more discussion on this basics of ceramics. Then we will move to the joining of this ceramic. So, talking about the ceramics, it may be this inorganic, non-metallic, solid, made up of either metal or non-metal compounds that have been shaped and then hardened by heating to a high temperatures. In general, they are hard, corrosion resistant, and brittle as well. Now, ceramic comes from the Greek word meaning pottery. So, ceramic means pottery. The clay-based domestic wares, art objects, and building products are familiar to us all, but pottery is just one part of the ceramic world. Nowadays, the term ceramic has more expansive meaning and includes materials like glass, advanced ceramics, and some cement systems also. Now, traditional ceramics, pottery is one of the oldest human technology. Fragments of clay pottery found recently in Hunan province in China have been carbon dated to 17,500 to around 18,300 years old. So this is the most oldest type of materials known to human being. Now there are major types of pottery such as earthenware, Then you have stoneware and porcelain as well. So you can see earthenware is used extensively for pottery, tableware, and decorative objects. It is one of the oldest materials used in pottery. The clay is fired at relatively low temperature, around 1000 to 1150 degrees Celsius, producing a slightly porous coarse product. To overcome this porosity, the fired object is covered with finely ground glass powder suspended in water, that is the glaze, and is then fired a second time. Faience, Delft, and Majolica are examples of earthenware. Stoneware clay is fired at a high temperature, about 1200 degrees Celsius, until made glass-like vitrified. Because stoneware is non-porous, glaze is applied only for decoration. It is a sturdy, chip-resistant, durable material suitable for use in the kitchen for cooking, baking, storing liquids, and as serving dishes. Porcelain is a very hard, translucent, white ceramic. The earliest forms of porcelain originated in China around 1600 BC, and by 600 AD, Chinese porcelain was a prized commodity with Arabian traders. Because porcelain was associated with China and often used to make plates, cups, vases, and other works of fine art, it often goes by the name of fine china. To make porcelain, small amounts of glass, granite, and feldspar minerals are ground up with fine white kaolin clay. Water is then added to the resulting fine white powder so that it can be kneaded and worked into shape. This is fired in a kiln to between 1200 to 1450 degrees Celsius. Decorative glazes are then applied, followed by further firing. Now coming to the bone china, which is easier to make, harder to chip, and stronger than porcelain, is made by adding ash from cattle bones to clay, feldspar minerals, and fine silica sand. Now advanced ceramics, new materials. Advanced ceramics are not generally clay used, instead they are either based on oxides or non-oxides or combinations of the above two. Typical oxides used are alumina, that is Al2O3, and zirconia, JrO2. Non-oxides are often carbides, borides, nitrides, silicates. For example, boron carbide B4C, silicon carbide SiC, molybdenum disilicate MoSi2. So production processes firstly involve thoroughly bending and blending the very fine constituent material powders. After shaping them into a green body, this is high temperature fired around 1600 to 1800 degrees Celsius. This step is often carried out in an oxygen free atmosphere. The high temperature allows the tiny grains of the individual ceramic components to fuse together, forming a hard, tough, durable, and corrosion resistant product. This process is called sintering. Now, coming to the application portion of this particular ceramics, advanced ceramic materials are now well established in many areas of everyday use, from fridge magnets to an increasing range of industries, including metal productions, processing, aerospace, electronics, automotive, personal productions as well. So, in modern medicine, advanced ceramics, often referred to as bioceramics, play an increasingly important role. Bioceramics use such as alumina, zirconia are hard, chemically inert materials that can be polished to a high finish. They are used as dental implants and as a bone substitutes in orthopedic operations such as hip and knee replacement as well. So you can see we have a clear idea of what ceramic actually is and what are the different this type of applications the ceramics are mainly associated with. Now here is a device. First of all, I must tell you there are some classification of the joining of ceramics. One is the direct bonding, another one is the mechanical attachment. In direct bonding, we have two classifications. One is your liquid phase, and another one is your solid phase. In the liquid phase, we have the adhesives, brazing, glass sealing, while in the solid phase we have diffusion bonding, illustrated static bonding, and friction welding. Now this diffusion bonding, friction welding, I have already mentioned in my previous classes. For a recapitulation, I must tell you that fusion welding, there are also many other solid phase joining processes as well in joining ceramics, but these are the main things: diffusion, electrostatic, and friction. So talking about the fusion welding, I have also discussed this fusion weldings, but to just remind you once more, I must tell you one or two lines. That successful use of electron beam welding to form Al2O3 Ta is ZrO2MO and ZrO2NB couples with substantial bond strength has been reported since 1960s. However, the applicability of fusion welding methods to ceramic metal system is very limited. So it is imperative to match the melting temperature and thermal contraction characteristics of pieces being bonded. Now coming to the friction welding, I have also discussed this friction welding in my previous class as well as the ultrasonic bonding as well. Now friction welding and ultrasonic bonding are extensively used in joining of the ceramics. So promising results in friction welding of aluminium of alumina Al2O3, aluminium to zirconia and aluminium to silicon nitride have been reported from Queen's University of Belfast. These three ceramics can also be welded to some other metals, but sometimes it requires the use of our interlayer. Interlayer means this one interlayer. As you can see over here, filler metal melts and it joins with the metals. It spreads through the surface and joins through the metal, that is the joining. Okay, now what happens in ultrasonic bonding of aluminum to a number of metals can be achieved in the normal atmospheric conditions, while the joining of titanium to ceramics by the same process requires the use of vacuum. Now talking about the diffusion bonding, here you will find diffusion bonding. In this method, the components to be joined are pressed together and subjected to a high temperature for a certain period of time. The pressure used must be high enough to cause diffusion to take place at the mating surfaces, but must not cause bulk deformation in the components being joined. Now the temperature employed is in the range of 0.65 to 0.98 Tm. That is the melting point of the metal in degrees absolute. So complex this physical and chemical reactions take place at the interference to affect a joint, like this one. I already shown you this picture. So here you will find this type of picture. Actually this one will be much more clear. This is the ceramic material. This is the ceramic material joining thick high core TM, high TM core layer. Also you can find over here as well. In between you can see. So this wide range of metals to ceramics and glasses to glass ceramics can be successfully bonded by this process. And provided the thermal contraction characteristics of the parts being joined are matching. You have to match, you have to check whether their thermal contraction characteristics are matching or not. Now diffusion bonding via interlayer is this one. Say we are having a layer in between the two joining surfaces, as you can see over here, this one. Now what happens in this method of joining ceramics to metals? A ductile metal interlayer is introduced between the faces to be joined, and thus the application of high pressure is not necessary. This interlayer helps to distribute the stresses at the interface, avoiding stress concentration, as well as accommodates some of the differential expansion and contraction of the two components during heating. If the interlayer temperature is not very high, then it may be possible to bond the components without having any detrimental effects on the mechanical properties of the workpiece, even if it may be of heat treatable alloy. Stainless steel can be joined to alumina using aluminium as a ductile layer. Gold has been used as an interlayer to bond a number of oxide ceramics and glasses to ferrous alloys. Copper can be welded to alumina by placing them in a slightly oxidizing atmosphere to a temperature of around 1060 to 1080 degrees Celsius. This results in the formation of a eutectic liquid at surface of copper, resulting in chemical bond between copper and aluminum. Now there are also many processes like isostatic bonding used, then glaze bonding, metallizing, and brazing, also adhesive bonding also there. So I'm not going directly into the depth of these processes, but you need to know that there are this types of welding processes prevails where you can have the opportunity to join ceramics. Okay, now here this type of this in this attachment sometimes ultrasonic welding is performed. So this is the clamping force applied through mount. Here is the vibration, here is the sonotone. I already discussed this all things in ultrasonic welding. You can check my previous video where ultrasonic vibration are being used to weld to similar or dissimilar metals. Now here is the weldment, as you can see over here, and this is the anvil on which the weldment is taking place. Now this is the coupler, this is the pivot mounting on welder frame, this is the transducer, and this is the force intensive mount, as you can see over here. Now this is the transducer assembly, as in here you can see. Now this is the clamping force reaction over here, this is the coupler assembly, and in the bottom portion you can see that we are having the tip, and this is the welder, and this is the clamping force, this is the anvil. Okay, as you can see. Okay, now one more thing I would like to share with you about this, the temperature capability. So you can see over here, with the high temperature only ceramics can withstand. As you can see, ceramic has a wide range of temperature from around 1500 degrees Celsius to around 150 degrees Celsius, but polymers are not so versatile in withstanding high temperature. So it is better to have polymers around this 200 to 300 degrees Celsius only, and metals can withstand up to this temperature, as you can see, up to around 150 to around this 1000 degree Celsius around. But ceramics are the materials where you can use for high temperature withstand. Okay, so ceramics are having this wide range, it can withstand up to 1500 degrees Celsius. So this is the ceramic adhesives, then the glass ceramics, then brazes, then glasses, then solders, then adhesives. So adhesives are very prone to high temperature, so it cannot withstand very high temperature. So it is very good at low temperature around 150 degrees Celsius or even lesser. Solders coming after the adhesives can withstand temperature up to this 450 degrees Celsius around. Now brazes, in brazing joint, that is the brazes can even join up to 800 degrees Celsius or even more. So these things you have to keep in mind while performing the joining operations. So ceramics are the materials where you can have the high temperatures. Now previously I discussed with you about this diagram. This is the base metal oxide, as you can see over here, and this is the ceramic on the upper side, and this is the filler metal in between the two layer, and at room temperature you can see this is the metal, and next you can see the filler metal melts in between the two layer, that is the ceramic and the metal, and eventually what happens, filler metal wicks into the ceramic metal to form composite. So it forms the composite, as you can see. Filler metal melts and spreads throughout the surface, inner surfaces of the ceramics as well as the metal surface, so it will help them to bond together. Now this is the same thing as previously I told you, that is the ultrasonic setup, as the transducer vibration frequency, as you can see. This is the sonotone, which helps in the vibrating controlled vibration, where you can have achieve the bonding of the metal sheets with the ceramics as well. Here is the anvil, and this is the sonotone tip, as you can see. This is the pressure. When pressure is applied, the joining takes place between the metal and the ceramic. Now in advanced ceramic applications, I have already mentioned that there are large field of applications in case of advanced ceramic applications. There is automotive, electronic, energy, environment, mechanical engineering, medical technology, aerospace, modern industries as well. So I have also mentioned this picture. So this is the real life picture, as you can see over here. Here the ceramics is been bonded with the metal. Now induction welding, this is the induction coil, this is the overlapping joint, this is the lapping joint as you can see. So this is the induced eddy currents helping the joining of the two materials. So here you can also see the induced currents helps in the joining of with the application of welding pressure as well. This is the susceptor, this is the alternating magnetic field as you can see. Now with the application of this welding pressure and induced current, alternating magnetic field, this is the coil, and the two metals can be two ceramics or ceramics with the metal can be joined. Now thermoformed or cut parts are assembled into the welding fixture firstly, this one. Then standard weld parameters used, each joint formed successively without assembly of the fixture. Now 5x welds completed in one single process. Now here you will find the this heating element. This is a clamp connection, this is the welded part as you can see over here. Now this is the voltmeter ammeter current connected, so due to the heat production it can join. So this was the thing we need to know about the joining of this welding of this ceramics as well as this composites. Composites are nothing but the this advanced thermoplastic composites have a high strength fibers held together by a thermoplastic matrix. So the same process you can apply for composites also, for joining of composites. That is the friction welding, ultrasonic welding, spin welding, linear vibration welding. These types of same. The procedures are already same. IR welding you can also use. That is the infrared welding, and surface heating you can also use, or laser welding you can also use for composites. So more or less you can apply the same welding processes as you can apply in ceramics as well as in composites also. So advanced thermoplastic composites are becoming more widely used in aerospace, marine, automotive and energy industry. This is due to decreasing cost and superior strength to weight ratio. Weight you know already, weights are much more in comparison of the strength, weight is much lower. So over metallic parts it can be used. So advanced thermoplastic composite have excellent damage tolerance, corrosion resistance, high fracture toughness, high impact resistance, good fatigue resistance, low storage cost and infinite shelf life. So this thermoplastic composites has also the ability to be formed and reformed, repaired and fusion welded as well. Okay, now the welding techniques will be remaining the same. That is the friction welding, laser welding and much more already. I have already discussed in the ceramics as well. So these are the things you have to need to know you have to keep in mind while joining of the ceramics as well as the composites. So today we have completed the joining process of ceramics as well as composites. So and today we have also completed the module 4. From the next class we will be moving to the module 5. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for watching.